Hi,
Hi,
Rachel.
how are you?
Great favorite Led Zeppelin song.
Tangerine.
Really?
Yeah,
I'm a Ramble On guy.
I do love Ramble On too. That's a good one. And What Is and What Should Never Be is also
Oh,
top tier.
I love it. All right, good to know.
This is like the second day in a row I've worn a band shirt, and I was like, this is maybe a bad idea because my interviews are just
No,
band shirts.
great way to jump into it. Are you kidding me?
But well, then to start, I'll ask my fun question first. I love that she sees Hunter S. Thompson. I think that is so fun. If you could see anybody to like help guide you for your work or guide you just in general, who would you see?
Oh man, who would I see to help guide me for my work? I think I would see Charlie Chaplin.
Interesting.
I think he was such a huge star, but made the transition from silent to talkies fairly well. Became a mogul, a studio owner, was a businessman as well. I just think the character he created was so iconic, and the way he navigated this business, he did it so much better than I could ever do it. Um, and there is you have to be a brilliant physical actor to do comedy the way he did it, and I think it was great.
That'd be, oh, I would love that. But I would picture like Robert Downey Jr.'s Charlie Chaplin. That was
No,
that boo boo
no,
just like follows me.
no. Although Robert Downey Jr., if you saw Oppenheimer, he was amazing in
Yeah,
that.
I'm team I want Downey to finally win his Oscar.
But I go,
But
so I go back to like Robert Downey Jr. in You're My Last Interview, so don't worry about time. Um, I go to like in Back to School with Rodney Dangerfield.
mhm,
I mean, where they do the super duper looper dive, whatever the hell it
yeah.
is. That's my or Less Than Zero.
Yeah, less than zero is also like one of my faves.
Hard
But
to-
to switch gears a little,
Yeah.
you playing a president in general is hard, but you were playing a presidential candidate, which is even more complicated because it is someone who just has aspirations. What for you was kind of the most fun about approaching a character that way? Because it doesn't have the burden of being the world leader on your shoulders, but it is still a man who is so determined to kind of have that power.
Well, I think that's part of it is the drive, right? There is a yearning that is playable in a character when they don't have something yet, when they want something. That's much different than someone who already has something. It's
Mhm.
so much more interesting to play that. And for this guy, initially what I was told and what we know about him is he's a veteran. He's a small town Kansas mayor with big political aspirations. And that is something that, for whatever reason, we as Americans, it's sort of woven into our fabric. That guy's trustworthy.
Mhm.
He's military. He's from the heartland. He's small town mayor. Maybe he's from a farm. You just think like he wasn't given anything. He had to do it himself. And there is a beauty to playing that. There's a simplicity that I think everybody immediately gets on board. And when I first heard about him and was given the character description, I immediately thought of Buttigieg. So I was able to go and sort of look at all these interviews he did and watch a lot of video on him and how he was able to get the media onto his side. For a mayor who'd never
Mhm.
held any federal position before, um, he did damn well. He was there till almost the end. He's now the transportation secretary. He's in the
Yeah.
government. It's a big deal. So he was a big inspiration in this character.
That's so fascinating because you were explaining it, and I was like, oh, it's kind of like Beto. Like, there's like literally
Yes.
so many that just pop into your head as you're kind of thinking about this guy. But I also do love, like, when we finally get to see him and Sadie come face to face towards the end of that first episode, and it's like he's a genuinely nice guy because she just like accidentally hits him.
Yeah.
It was weirdly surprising because it's you don't see the human side of these candidates like for us in our real lives. So to see them have these human moments in this show is so kind of like drastically different for you when you are, building those very quick moments, especially with like Melissa. Do you
Mhm.
guys all have conversations about how this is going to go, or is it just kind of like we're playing what's written on the page and we're just diving into it?
Well, we are playing what's written on the page, but prior to putting obviously anything on film, not even film anymore, on digital, um, we rehearse it and we sort of walk it through and we talk it, and we probably walked that bump into each other uh 10, 15 times before we got it right and figured it out. And we're like, okay, I'll come from here, you come from there. How do we end it? And her character being who she is, and my guy being needing her character and really needing her, uh, not just her political reporting, but her newspaper's weight behind me,
Mm-hmm.
um, made a big difference in that scene. And to try to be to be interested, to want something but not be needy, is a really fine line. And so we worked on that a bit. And there was an improv line at the end that they kept in. After she walks away, I sort of turn to my assistant and I say, that was weird, which I thought was a great thing they kept in, because it was just an off the cuff thing. Sort of worked.
And like that is a very fine line to play too, because you're playing a guy who like needs something,
Yeah.
but he doesn't come across as like
Desperate.
vindictive or desperate or manipulative. He is just a guy who's like, hey, this happened to fall into my hands and now I'm just gonna make the best of it. For you play a lot of characters that kind of have all these layers to them, and you have to kind of wade through to see what they actually are like looking for. For you as an actor, does that just make it more interesting to like play those kind of characters that aren't just what you get is what you get?
Yeah, look, I think that's human, right? Like anytime you meet someone, I mean, my wife, everyone's like, "Oh, Scott Foley is such a nice guy." My wife would be like, I don't know. I don't know if he's such a nice guy. We are all um, flawed and layered, and that's the beauty of playing a character on TV. Even if it's not on the page, it's finding that for myself, and even if you don't see it, it's in my head. I'm trying, knowing that I want that to be there. And the great thing about this is they put it in there. As the show progresses, from the first episode to the last, you see a change in him, for better or worse. And I think every character. I remember early in my career, I think I was on Felicity, and I said to J.J. Abrams, I was a young actor. I was like, oh, my character would never do this. And he was like, come here. He said, every character would do everything. And it's kind of right. Like, I don't know what I'm capable of or what I'm not. I mean, I think I do, but you never know. And I love that about acting. There's always layers to a character, expected and unexpected.
Yeah. Gosh, I love this show so much. I can't wait for people to get to see it because I think it's very fun and it's an interesting way of looking at like campaigning in general,
Yeah,
especially with this year coming up. But thank you so much for talking with me today. I really appreciate it
of
and can't
course.
wait to see it.
I'm so glad you liked it. I was surprisingly, I'm not great at judging myself for things I'm in, but I loved it too. So thank you.